Welcome to my Scrappin space. I'm Joni Martin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator located in Southwest Wisconsin. And I'm here to share with you a card we made this month in our InColor Club. Let me get rid of my face and talk about paper. So we are ending this is the last month of InColor Club. And InColor Club is when a new catalog comes out. Every spring, they add 5 new InColors and subtract 5 of the InColors. And so once a month for the first 5 months of the new catalog, we focus on a color and they get supplies and card kits. And this is one of the cards they're making. And our color this month is Cloud Cover. So I went to the Peaceful Garden paper pack. This is in the September to December mini. So you can see Cloud Cover is one of the colors. And it works with so many papers. Our 2 cards focused on this one, which that video is already up, and then this one. I love this paper. I'm going to show you just a little closer this piece of it. Isn't that pretty? I like the contrast, but I also think it's a card you could use for just about anything. I made mine into a thank you card because I seem to need lots of those. But I think it'd be great for a birthday or a sympathy, a get well. You get the idea. Let me show you how we made the card. We started with a base of Secret Sea. Secret Sea and Cloud Cover just work so well together. And then I have my Cloud Cover mat. Now all my measurements, the directions, the supplies I used are all in my Scrappin with Joni blog. Just go to Scrappin with Joni. But before I attach this, I'm going to punch out this label piece that we need. I'm using Labeled with Love. Now you might have a scrap around, you could do the same thing, but this is a great way to not have to, in case you don't, have to punch a hole in a new piece of paper. So here's our mat. We're going to use that in a second. Here's our card front, and we're going to attach them. Now I'm going to use my favorite tape runner, Seal Plus. You could use glue too, but if you use glue, 2 things. Don't use too much because we're going to emboss it and that will push the glue out. And regardless of what adhesive you use, don't do like I sometimes do and go right through the center. And then it's going to stick where that opening is. So I'm going to be careful and I'm going to put my tape runner just around the outside. And then I'm going to center it. And then I want to emboss it. I love using embossing. And I chose Pressed Flowers, which is going to use plates 1, 3, and 3. And this folder, unlike most of ours, actually goes this way. And it doesn't cover the whole area. So I wanted as much of that as I could get. So I'm going to put that here. And we're going to emboss. I'm going to move my pieces out of the way. Grab the embossing folder. So when they say plates 1, you're going to start with this one. You always start with plate 1. And then 3s are your clear plates. And it doesn't matter how well loved they are. They can be pretty grody because everything is in your embossing folder. And mine, as I'm moving it around, got moved around a little too much. So we want to make sure you can, oops, sorry, that's a little noisy. You can see where the embossing ends. I don't want to put this all the way to the end, because then I'm going to have a gap where there's no embossing. So we're just going to move it up a touch. And I have it on this side of the folder because I want to get more of the embossing in. I'm going to put it fold first, and I'm going to put a plate on top because you always have a plate on top, whether you're embossing or die cutting. That protects your product, like your embossing folder or your die cut, and it protects your machine. Then we're just going to run it through our cut and emboss, making sure my plates are aligned, and then I'm just going to run it through just like that. Now you could make the card without doing this, but I think it just does. That texture just adds a bit to your card. We're not going too far because we're going to emboss one more thing, but I want to show you this. Let's see if we can catch the light. There's texture. Now it doesn't go all the way to the top. That's okay. And actually we're going to add something here that you won't notice it as much. So I don't know if you noticed on the one I showed you, I also embossed the label. Now you could just use a flat label, but it's going to look flat. So whatever folder you use for the embossing the front, consider embossing the label that's going on too. And this is obviously not the label that I am going to stamp on. If you want to do that, stamp first. But I just want a little more texture on that label. I think it just makes it stand out a little bit more, gives it a bit more of a presence. So there we go. We can put this away now. I already did my die cutting. And I'll show you next what I did for that. And again, I used pressed flowers. Any overall embossing folder would work. I bet you have all kinds in your stash. And then notice I have this little circle here that I stamped on. I wanted something, obviously, that you'd still see some of the label on the outside. I like circles. For that, I went to Spotlight on Nature. I go to these all the time. You get 12 circles, and they're just really great because they have different designs in them. Yes, this is one of my favorites. I used for this one the second to the smallest, but depending on what you're stamping, you could decide that. So I have it here, and I'm going to attach this flat, meaning I'm not going to use dimensionals to attach the circle to the label. I will do the next part with that though. When it's as heavily embossed as this, see how you can see how much texture's there? Multi-purpose glue is your friend, because it will go in those crevices. It will kind of stick there, and I'm just putting it in the center. As you can see, I'm being pretty generous. And then we're going to put the thanks in there. And that looks pretty straight. We're going to call that good. All right. This is getting attached right up here, kind of to that spot. I'd probably put it anywhere there, but it's not as noticeable that part of it's embossed and part of it isn't. And that's a look that would be fine. Yeah, that's where I wanted to put it. So we're using dimensionals, which are like, think of little pieces of foam that come off the back, the paper sticky, and then you're going to take the other side off to get them to stick. So they're going to be sticky on both sides. So we're going to take those off. This is my little trash bowl. And I learned from my friend Jennifer that if I take the time to throw them in the trash as I take them off, they're not going to travel. They're really staticky, so they get on your clothes and your shoes, and they get everywhere you don't want them. There we go. My crafting space is in the basement, and they would travel on my clothes upstairs. I'd find them all over upstairs in our living area. This is going to go here. Look at that. And seriously, how easy is this to put together? Now we're going to attach this, and see, no one but you and I are going to know that we took a piece of that card mat out for the front of our card. I'm using the glue again, but I'm not going too close to the outside, because when I push down, that glue is going to spread out, which is what we want it to do. We just don't want it to spread out to our card base. There we go. Look at that. When you pull in the secret C from the background, the cloud cover from the mat and the label, it just all plays so nice together. Then I added, have you seen these flat pearls? They come in 3 sizes and in every InColor we have. So there's a set of 5 of the InColors for 25, 27, and a different set of the InColors for 24, 26. I find myself going to these all the time. They are flat, so they're not going to add too much to your card. They won't get in the way of mailing it. And I like that I have some choices in sizes. They're sticky on the back. I like to put a lot of things I'm designing with in odd numbers. For embellishments, I tend to do 3. And I tend to put them in a roughly triangular shape, which just means one embellishment is hanging out by itself, and the other 2 are closer together. Let's do this. There we go. I like that. Well, look at that. Our card is almost done. So for the inside, I just have a blank white, standard size, 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to attach just a scrap, a 1/2 inch strip from here. And yes, I know it's much longer than I need, but for me, it's easier if it's a little longer. I have arthritis in my hands, and sometimes they want to play nice and some days are harder. And having that little extra handle on there makes it easier for me to move it around. And if I don't get it lined up exactly straight, it's not going to matter because I'm going to trim it anyway. And because I'm using the multi-purpose glue, I can move that where I want it. And then this is going to get trimmed. This is a card. You could pick any of your favorite papers. Pick a coordinating card base and a coordinating mat and go to town. Grab your favorite embossing folder. It's a simple card design. It doesn't take long, but it has a lot of impact. And that 1/2 inch strip of scrap has finished the inside of your card. Now, because it's a thank you, I'm not going to stamp anything on the inside. I'll be writing a note, or this might be one I donate to a local group that uses a lot of thank you cards. So, you know what I'm going to say next, right? We are not sending this pretty card in a naked envelope. This card deserves better. So we're going to take the envelope flap and fold it back. I have another piece that's 2 1/4 by 6, and I'm going to glue it on here. But I want to point out, this paper has a direction. Like this way, it's upside down. And we don't want an upside down envelope flap. So this is the top, and the top of your paper should line up with that fold. So let's grab some glue. There we go. This is the top. Where the fold is the top. We're going to put the two together. And just trim. The envelope flap will be our guide. It's really easy to do this. Really, the tricks are to put your adhesive around the outside, not just in the middle, because that can leave a gap. If you don't put all the way around the outside so the paper is sealed all the way around, it can catch in one of the postal sorting machines, and that's not pretty. It kind of just rips it all up. There we go. There's our thank you card. How easy was that? Thanks for watching. I appreciate it more than you know. If you liked what you saw, please share it with your crafty friends. Until next time, take care and keep crafting. It's good for you.